Hello, everybody. Welcome to Expansion Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the last excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hello. You caught me mid-chew of a cookie, so I had to scurry and make it look like I wasn't chewing, even though I just explained that I was eating a cookie. So I guess it doesn't matter.
It's a yum cookie. Hello. Well, Corey, we are continuing our journey of Nintendo launch games. And everybody, this is the episode where we'll probably talk a lot about the launch games, but then once again start talking about the games with the system. We're talking about the Nintendo GameCube, and they kind of had a bigger launch here in America than they did in Japan. So just to let everybody know, the Japanese launch titles were Luigi's Mansion, Brave Race Blue Storm, and Super Monkey Ball. That was the only three releases that they had. Here in America, we got all three of those games, but we also got Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, All-Star Baseball 2002, Madden NFL 2002, NHL Hits 2002, Dave Myra Freestyle BMX 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Disney's Tarzan Untamed, Crazy Taxi, and Batman Vengeance. So, if you were
quite a launch.
I mean, it's very sports heavy.
Well, yeah, but most launches are, especially if, most of those sports games come out in September, October, November, or starting in probably September with FIFA and Madden, and well, really July if you count college football, but you know what I mean? Those games come out early, and then if a new console's coming out, they try to rush out the next gen version, right?
Yes.
And at that point, we had more than enough sports games, right? We had 2 college football games, we had 2 NFL games, we had 3 basketball games at that point. It was 2K versus EA at that point in terms of sports, and there was some other ones in there, but it was that was the big battle. And then it was so weird when I had 4 football games from the same year on my shelf at one point for GameCube. It was Madden and NCAA football. I think it was 2003. Madden and NCAA football, and then I had NFL 2K 3 and NCAA football 2K3. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop. So yeah, that's just something I noticed, and it was funny. So
yeah, I actually got my GameCube later. I got it when the black one came out, the black edition of the GameCube. And I can't say I did play Luigi's Mansion, and it was a cool game. I remember playing Rogue Squadron 2 and just loving that game, Factor 5. It just played so well, looked so good, and the music was fantastic. Really truly enjoyed that. This was the time where I think Sega, once the Dreamcast was ending, they was moving their games over to GameCube and PlayStation and stuff. This is when they kind of became a third party company at that time. Man, I remember when I got my GameCube, it was I think Super Mario Sunshine was out or was coming out. And I just remember getting just these platformers and action games and stuff. Metroid Prime, Beautiful Joe, Resident Evil 4, just different years and everything. But that's what I remember when I got my GameCube, Eternal Darkness and stuff. I wasn't, and kind of still not, a big sports player. So I probably wouldn't have bought anything besides probably Luigi's Mansion, and I would have got Brave Race, because that is a Nintendo game. But Super Monkey Ball wasn't probably my jam. Crazy Taxi. I think it was different from the Sega Dreamcast version because I don't know if they took the licensed music out of that one on the GameCube.
I mean, there were some things, but not. No, the licensed music was still in that one. It
Okay,
was the Xbox Live Arcade one that they took out the licensed music. But no, I think it was the same for the most part. But it was really weird. I mean, that was a time, right? I mean, we're kind of experiencing it now with Xbox games on PlayStation, but like
mm-hmm.
that was a time, man, when you started seeing like, you know, uh, Jet Set Radio Future on Xbox and
Yeah.
Fantasy Star and Sonic on GameCube, and like Crazy Taxi didn't know where it wanted to be, and then you got weird games like Billy Hatcher, and it's like, oh, okay, well,
I
that's.
love Billy Hatcher.
But then we got like the best versions of Skies of Arcadia, Legends, and what was the other one that we got that was like the best versions of those games? I was like, oh, okay, well, that's whatever. It's cool, right? Like
Uh,
GameCube just like I don't know what it was. It was like Xbox was like, hey, if you're a serious Sega gamer, you're coming here to play, Sega GT and because like they had that bundle, that original Xbox bundle with Sega GT and Jet Set Radio in it,
mm-hmm.
which was the bundle that I got. That was the bundle I got, and then I bought Halo. Those were the 3 games I owned until like Knights of the Old Republic came out for the original Xbox. But then like there's like, well, if you have a child, you're getting all the other games like Sonic and Billy Hatcher and Super Monkey Ball and
Yeah, they designed those games like they were arcade games. Like Billy Hatcher
Mhm.
could have been an arcade game, and that's
It
how it
probably
felt on
was
the GameCube,
somewhere, you know,
right? Because
like
I think we ended up getting what Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. I think on GameCube.
yeah, because we got Sonic Adventure 2 first in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which had all that extra stuff in it. And
Okay.
then like a year after that we got Sonic Adventure DX, which was like an
Yeah.
enhanced version of Sonic Adventure. So yeah, I mean we ended up getting both of those games on GameCube. And they never came anywhere else except for I think Sonic Adventure 1 was on Xbox Live Arcade at some point too, but like all that, it's like all music rights stuff. It's not even like interesting. And like it's weird times.
Dude, this is okay. So this is all the Sonic games that came out on GameCube: Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, Sonic Gems Collection, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Riders, Soul Calibur. Oh no, Soul Calibur 2. Which is just an amazing game.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. What a time. Time to be
yeah.
alive, huh?
Um. But of course, we had the memory card and everything, and of course, Japan had the Panasonic Q, for the GameCube that had the DVDs with it. Of course, we had the Game Boy Advance attachment. Um, but I think for this launch, because you didn't get the GameCube at launch, Corey, right?
I did. I got
Or
it
you
on
did?
launch day. It came out on my birthday,
Oh,
I think.
nice.
Or like it came out like right before my birthday and I ended up getting it. That was my birthday gift for, my birthday was the GameCube. Uh I didn't pre-order it or anything and I really wanted one, but I
Hmm.
was also like when it came out 2001, right? So like I mean
Yeah,
like I couldn't go get it because I was I don't know, 14, 15. I was turning 15 I think at the time and like I can't drive, right? I have, it's November, so it's school's still in. I didn't pre-order it. I couldn't have my parents take me to go pre-order it, but my parents were or my mom was actually
uh,
out that day. And
no, November 18th. That's when it
yeah,
came out.
yeah, so like a week before my birthday.
Okay.
And my mom was I couldn't remember if she was still working at the Disney store at that time. I don't think so, but there was a Disney store in the mall. And I know her friends at least still worked there. And there's a Babbage's like right across. There was a Babbage's right across from the Disney store,
Hmm.
and she knew I wanted one, and I had asked for it, and they, my dad was with her, and they walked in and got one for me with Luigi's Mansion, which was awesome. And they brought it home, and the next day, my dad took me to Best Buy because I had been saving up some Best Buy. I had been saving up Best Buy gift cards to buy a GameCube, but they bought me one for my birthday, so I ended up spending it on games and a memory card. I bought Tony Hawk 3, that nasty orange controller,
lucky,
because I thought it was cool at the time. I still have it. And then I bought 2 memory cards because I knew they weren't the biggest, but I didn't know, because I knew sports games specifically took up a lot of space on memory cards for some reason.
Yeah.
Just from having played Madden on PS2. So I was like, I should probably buy 2 because Tony Hawk may or may not. Obviously, Nintendo games are kind of optimized, but still. Yeah, and I went home and I was like, the sad thing is like I was so excited to go home and play my GameCube.
Yeah.
But my mom and my cousin had organized a surprise birthday party for me, which I hate surprises and I hate parties. All I wanted to do was go to my room and play GameCube, but I had to like pretend to enjoy myself with all these people from my school that I wasn't friends with, by the way. Most of them, some of them I was, but most of them, right? There were 4 people there that I actually enjoyed their company. 2 of them were 2 of them were like pretty good friends. One of them was their friend, which like I didn't not like, but like we weren't close. And then the girl I had a crush on, which was like not, but whatever. This story for a different day. But and it was just like I just didn't want to be there. I just wanted to stay. I wanted to go to my bedroom and play Tony Hawk and Luigi's Mansion. And then Pikmin ended up coming out like either like a couple weeks later, or it was around that time.
Yeah.
And Smash, and I ended up getting those. So those were like the 4 games I owned for a long time. But yeah, I mean,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say GameCube launch. Aside from the Wii, the GameCube launch is probably the most memorable console launch for me, just because of that reason.
Yeah, I got my because it had to be 2002 that I got mine, because I was working at JCPenney, and going to school, and I remember at that time I was in the math department, when I was working.
By the way, I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking for something very specific to this topic.
Okay.
That I think I might have in this box sitting right next to me, ironically. So just entertain until I find it.
Okay. And I remember, getting paid, and just like I guess I had worked some extra hours and stuff. And I remember cashing my cashing my check, because didn't have debit cards and stuff around that time, I believe. And I remember cashing my check, having money put in my account, took some money out when I went to go cash it, and the next day that I was working, when I got off, I went and got my GameCube, and because we got paid on Fridays actually, and everything. So that Saturday, I believe I went and got my GameCube and got a extra controller, got the black 32 gig memory card, and was getting games and stuff for it. So that's why I encountered the GameCube, and I remember having EGM's magazine, and I still got it. It was Xbox versus GameCube, and people were in favor of the Xbox over the GameCube, and um, just as people was making, the GameCube was the Mario system and everything. Halo was like the Xbox system. That's how
Oh
Xbox
yeah.
got popular because everybody only just played Halo. I remember going to some not lag, LAN parties with the Halo, for Halo. But then I remember when Mario Kart Double Dash came out. I was at my friend's house. Me and my two friends, we was at our friend's house, having some adult beverages sometimes and playing Golden Eye or not Golden Eye. The it was a
Perfect Dark.
not Perfect Dark. It was a 007 game on it on
Every
GameCube.
it was Everything or Nothing. No, nope. It was The World Was Not Enough.
Yes, that one.
The EA one, which was actually really good. It was very competent. It was. I think. I mean, I think that game is. I think that game is probably better than GoldenEye, to be
uh,
honest. But I mean, I think GoldenEye is just remembered more fondly because it was a Nintendo first party game and not an EA game, and it
mm,
came out first.
yes. Um,
I found what I was looking for, and I'm very excited.
Okay. Yeah, and I remember because my friend he had a PlayStation 2, and so I would bring my GameCube. He would bring his. We would play his PlayStation 2. So when we was done with Mario Kart, Double Dash, we would hop into SmackDown, and everything, and or we would watch a movie and stuff. But man, I remember just having my GameCube and like I stated before, um, all my games for the GameCube were new. While my other systems had like used games. I did buy some new games and stuff, for those other systems. But man, um, most of the Nintendo stuff, for GameCube was like on point. Eternal Darkness. Um, I had Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, Soul Calibur 2. Like I had to have that. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Like, man, I had to have all of those games. And Sears was the place in the mall that I was buying my GameCube games. Uh,
Nice. I'm ready. I found something else interesting that I don't need it for this episode, but it might be interesting down the line.
huh.
But I don't know what the date is on it. My nephew might find this interesting. I found the Game Informer. It says Fortnite on it, right?
Oh wow.
What year do you think this is from?
2012.
Uh, May 2014. This whole issue from Game Informer
Uh-huh.
is all about the survival mode that doesn't exist in the game anymore.
Oh wow.
That was the cover story. So I first of all, I wonder if this magazine's worth anything. Probably
Probably
was worth a
is.
little bit more before Game Informer came back, but
I
all
think
right,
with the regular story that's in it, I think it's worth
yeah,
something. Especially
yeah.
with that cover. I don't think you can find that cover anywhere.
I have two. I have two because they made two covers, and for some reason, I have both of them. All right, Ed, are you ready for what
Yes.
I'm about to show you? All right. So there's a couple here not from launch, but notable ones. So first of all, the Nintendo Power from launch week of
Yes.
the GameCube has Luigi's Mansion on the front. Okay. Let's see what was going on at launch at the GameCube. Okay. Let's go to the letters section and see what people were writing about. So there's strategy guides in here. Are you ready for this, Ed? There's strategy guides in here for not full guides, but just game strategies. For
Mhm.
Luigi's Mansion, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader, Super Monkey Ball, Madden NFL 2002, Razor Freestyle Scooter. because
Oh wow.
everybody had to have a Tony Hawk ripoff in 2002.
Yeah, true.
Wave Race Blue Storm, amazing game by the way. Doom, doesn't say which one, just says Doom. Doom must have come out on Game Boy Advance or something. We'll look. Golden Sun and Wario Land 4. So special features, Nintendo Power 100 issue 150 and counting.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the where'd it go? I also have the very last issue of Nintendo Power sitting right here too.
Oh no.
Right here. That was when they were going every other month too, because I also have this penultimate one with Rayman on the front of it, Rayman Legends for the Wii U, and then the Nintendo Power poster that's it from this magazine is in that frame over there. But all right, let's read Player's Pulse, shall we, Ed?
Yes.
This is something I've been wanting to do as a reoccurring thing on Pow Block, is find old Nintendo Power magazines and read some of these. Or maybe that's just an expansion pass that we can do.
Oh,
once a month or something.
Dude, I got so many. I got Game Informer, EGM.
Dude, this whole there's probably I have 250 issues of magazines sitting right here, from Game Informer, EGM, Nintendo Power. The weird Best Buy one that they did for like a year called Gamer. There's so many in here, dude. Like all the way back to like N64. Like I have the Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time launch issues. I kept them. I really wish I would have kept all my Game Informer magazine or my Nintendo Power magazines. I had so many of them. All right. Female response. Ready for this? FE-MAIL.
Yes.
I think my favorite female hero is Samus Aran, who boldly saves the galaxies from the dreaded Mother Brain. She is a righteous babe and a tough cookie all in one. That's from Grant Devereaux, and then it says, via the internet. Oh my gosh.
Why do I feel like that was someone made up? Because I'm just like, okay, you said babe, but then you said dreaded. I'm just like, huh? Wait, oh yeah.
Metroid Dread was rumored for Game Boy Advance at that point, but also like, dude, this is 2001. Okay.
No internet person.
This was before social media. This was the age of AOL, like 30-day trial discs, and keywords, and all. Oh my gosh, the internet was so weird back then. It's weird now, but it was really weird back then. Okay, here it is. This must be where the Peaches song came from the Mario movie. All this says is peach, 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 gasp. Peach, 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 peach. And that's from Keys Masta via the internet. CHEEZ space MASTAH. Cheese Masta. All right. This one's from Emily Frank from Wisconsin. First of all, I was like, maybe I shouldn't read their names, but this is also a magazine from 2001, so who cares? I would say the female hero from Pokemon Crystal is my favorite. Finally, I could stop giving the poor male hero a girl's name and hoping no one notices. 2001, everybody. This one's from Jeff. Just as Jeff. But not JEFF. GEOFF. My favorite female character, that would be Joanna Dark. She rocks. That British accent just can't be beat, and she takes no nonsense from evil aliens.
But Perfect
It's
Dark
from
was
Jeff.
like, but that was like in '97, not in.
No, it was 2000. It was 2001. It was early 2001 with Majora's Mask,
With
or
from
2000
Perfect
maybe. Fall
Perfect Dark was,
2000. Yeah,
but Perfect Dark was N64. It was never on GameCube.
yeah. Well, this is Nintendo Power. It's still, dude. This is the GameCube launch and shoot. There's still N64 games in here for like another year.
Was it a list of the best female characters or something?
Yes, that's literally what the segment is called. Female response.
Okay.
Come on, Ed, keep up. This one's from Amanda via the internet. I love how it just says via the internet. Tiny Kong is by far the most coolerific video game girl. She can fight, she's fast, and she can actually wear overalls and still look cute.
They was really keeping this PG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when a magazine's run by Nintendo, we didn't know though. We didn't know that Nintendo Power was propaganda from the big end.
I said, look in the Fortnite magazine and read some of the stories there.
Yeah, we'll do that on a separate episode. This is the GameCube episode. We'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that after we're done with our launch stuff. All right. Here's the letter of the month.
We should do that, a letter of the month episode, because I got a lot of magazines that have them.
I know. Hey, I was wondering how long you guys have been making the magazine and how many people work there. Plus, why don't you guys have a TV show? The first issue of Nintendo Power fell into the sore thumbs of Nintendo fanatics in the summer of 1988, 13 years ago. Oh my gosh.
I was 8 years old.
So long ago. It was 2. Check the masthead in the content section to see the names of all the people who work on Nintendo Power. Wow! NPTV. We can see it now. Alan arresting wayward cheaters as a code cop, Jason and Drew in the now playing theater reviewing games, Jennifer interviewing Link about his new look, and George anchoring it all from the news desk. You know, Nintendo Power Podcast exists. It's once a month. It's so funny now because all this stuff actually really exists now. Like Nintendo Power Podcasts, obviously, I think the Treehouse stuff probably qualifies as a TV show. The Direct stuff qualifies, right? Like, man, remember when we used to have to wait to get that information, and now it's just available all the time, everywhere.
I think we had, because we didn't have the One Up Show at that time, which was EGM.
No, podcasts didn't exist.
But I think we had
It was still IGN 64.
Oh, okay.
Time. This is when they changed to IGN. Is when that, like, the GameCube started coming around to be like, you know, and then the PlayStation 2 became popular. They decided they should cover more than just N64 games, so they changed to IGN.
Wasn't the Game Pro show like on ESPN around this time? I think
there was. I don't remember what was on ESPN. It wasn't on ESPN. It was
Here it was. It was on ESPN. It was.
I think it was on ABC for us.
Okay. So just
which both program. Disney affiliates, by the way. So
right.
Whatever.
Because it would come on It would come on Saturday around 11 o'clock for the Game Pro show.
Yeah. Everybody, you should really be watching this. I mean, look at this, dude. Man, magazines. You know what would be awesome? Here's a free idea for someone, and maybe we should keep it, but we can't because we don't have archival stuff of all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo or whoever owns the rights to EGM, and like I would say Game Informer, they still have a magazine, right? Should have a subscription service where you get reprints of the magazines. It was so cool. Except, who does that serve? It serves like you, me, and like 4 other people, right? But it'd still be super cool to get like. All right, let's. Oh no! Oh no! The TV power charts. Oh no! I don't like this. All right, Eddie, you ready? The new fall TV season is underway, but as far as we're concerned, nothing beats the classic video game cartoons. That is, check out our picks as the best cartoons based on video games. Then turn the tables in right away, and tell us which video games deserve the small or big screen treatment. Oh no! All right, here we go. Here are the TV winners. Okay.
Before you go, Corey. So the Super Mario cartoon has to be on there. The Legend of Zelda, Pac-Man had a cartoon.
Here, let me. It's listed from 10 to 1.
Okay.
So at number 10, we have Pokemon and Donkey Kong Country as a tie.
Huh?
I'm like, dude, Donkey Kong did not age well, and Pokemon's still going. You tell me which one's better.
Because Donkey Kong had that CGI kind of look.
Yeah.
It had that reboot look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not as cool as Reboot, because it was monkeys in a jungle and not robots where you could hide the CG, crappiness. Number 9, Earthworm Jim.
Oh, I remember that show.
Number 8, Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair was a cartoon series?
Apparently. I mean, it was Don Bluth, like, ex Disney, did like Anastasia and Balto and American Tail and stuff like that. It was his studio. Secrets of Nim. Number 7, Pole Position. Number 6, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Which version?
Yeah, I know which one. The one with tails, or the one with the weird, like,
was like a pink girl or something?
It was some female animal with a pink mohawk or something.
Yeah, because it was like 3 of them. That was on for us, like UPN. If anybody remember that?
Yeah, one was on UPN and the other one was on Fox, I think, right?
Fox no, 3. There was one was on Fox, one was on UPN, and then one was on ABC.
Yeah, because one had brown tails and one had pink or orange tails.
Yeah, the UPN one had the pink one. Sonic Adventures of Sonic X was later on with that was like the Japanese animation on Fox. And then I think ABC had the Steve Urkel one. Voicing Sonic.
Number 5 was Mega Man. This is a great launch title for launch GameCube thing. But I mean, dude, this was in the launch issue of GameCube. Why are they writing about this stuff when there's a GameCube coming out?
I had not one.
The front of the cover literally says it's here, and we're talking about classic video game cartoons. Come on. I wonder why they don't make magazines anymore. Jeez. 13 years 4? After this issue. Number 4 is the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Number 3 is Saturday Supercade. I don't even know what that is.
That was like 70s, I think.
2 is Pac-Man, and 1 is Captain N the Game Master.
I remember watching
Mega Man.
I remember watching Pac-Man on USA. Because I used to my mom used to buy me the Pac-Man soup cans.
All right. let's see. I don't know what. Oh, the right away in this um issue, which is like their prompt to have people write in about stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it's about it's about video game movies and TV shows and which ones you would want to see, and then it has like a small thing about the Mario movie from the '90s, not the new one. Mario and Luigi have starred in a cartoon series and a big budget action film, and more games and shows are on the way. Are there? I don't remember anything after the Super Mario Super Show until the Mario movie.
Right.
Anyways. Oh, the artist gallery. The winner is a Dragon Quest VI thing. So, remember when they would like people would color on the envelopes and like they would border the letters, right? Their letter
Yeah.
I always was like fascinated with some of
It
the
was
stuff that
it was the envelope art because
Mhm.
Game Informer used to do it too.
Yeah. So
Some of them were really cool, really talented.
yeah. All right, let's look at Game Watch. This is the inspiration for Pack Watch, everybody. It used to be called Pack Watch, but when they switched to discs, they had to call it Game Watch because they didn't come on game packs anymore. All right, this month's Game Watch, we have Disney's Donald Duck Advance. We have Disney's Tarzan Untamed for the GameCube. Crazy Taxi makes its way over from the Sega Dreamcast, and Batman Vengeance. But then it goes on into GameCube, upcoming GameCube games, Pikmin on Parade, and it has like a huge feature on Pikmin. And that would be cool to read through on this on an episode at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we should do that for the next 1UP episode.
Magazine reads.
Yeah. First play, hands-on previews of upcoming games. So we have Batman Vengeance, we have Tarzan, Crazy Taxi, Hits from Midway, which would be NHL Hits 2002 and NFL Blitz 2002. We're both coming over. Jackie Chan is the man. The Jackie Chan Adventures: Legends of the Dark Hand is a Game Boy Advance side-scrolling beat 'em up featuring Jackie Chan, based on the cartoon series he was in, sort of. Alienators Evolution continues from Activision. DreamWorks SKG and Digital Eclipse for Game Boy Advance. There's Tecmo's Monster Rancher Advance. So a Monster Rancher game came to Game Boy Advance. That's interesting. Rugrats Castle Capers for Game Boy Advance. A lot of GBA games in here. What is this game? Oh, Breath of Fire for GBA. I forgot that came out on GBA.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was I wonder if Square Enix produced that one, because I know Capcom produced the first one, I think, for Super Nintendo.
Well, it says Capcom in the magazine.
Okay, then they did both of Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm. Capcom should have Breath of Fire ready for release sometime in November. So November 2001. All right, Ed, let's see. Game Watch forecast. The top games on this list. Are you ready?
Yes.
Super Smash Bros. Melee for GameCube. Mech Platoon for Game Boy Advance. It almost looks like a Age of Empires or StarCraft or something on Game Boy Advance. Man, that must have been really tough to see. Monster Rancher Advance. And get this, Star Fox Dinosaur Planet.
Which was
Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I still have my Nintendo 64 box with the original Dinosaur Planet logo and screenshots on the back.
Really?
It wasn't even tied to Star Fox yet. Yeah.
What box was it on?
N64, the launch box.
Oh, the N64 launch. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So some of the games, I'm not going to read every game on here, but some of the notable games on here for GameCube, which some of them never came out. Which we'll get to that. 1080 Snowboarding 2, which ended up being Avalanche. Animal Forest, which ended up becoming Animal
Animal
Crossing.
Crossing.
Because Animal Forest was the N64 name for that game before they moved it to
Yes.
GameCube. Bomberman Generation, Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX 2, Donkey Kong Racing, which never came out. Duke Nukem Forever.
It never came.
No, it did. It came out 10 years later on different set of hardware.
It did? I don't remember
Duke Nukem Forever?
Yeah.
Gearbox. Remember Randy Fisher did that whole thing?
I'm just saying for the GameCube. I'm just saying that it never came out. And then
definitely
when
not.
they got it for 360 and PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eternal Darkness, Extreme G3. Extreme G was awesome. I hope that comes to GameCube. I hope that comes to the NSO. Acclaim is back, so it might. Here's one, Ed, that never came to GameCube, but you might recognize. Cameo, Elements of Power.
Oh yeah, that one too. I remember seeing that in EGM and stuff. And then it ended up on 360 as a launch game.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when Nintendo sold Rare to Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Mario Kart, Metroid, Codename Prime, Mickey Mouse for GameCube. Let's see, anything else notable on here? Pikmin, Resident Evil 0 is on here. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Not Resident Evil remake though, just 0.
Because that was supposed to be an N64 game, and then
right, because they ended up changing some of Resident Evil 2 in the N64 version to accommodate Zero's story, right?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. Sega Sports 2K2, which must be, it says underneath NBA 2K2, so I don't know if that was something different or not. Sonic Adventure 2, SSX Tricky, Star Fox Dinosaur Planet, Tetris Worlds, Turok Next, which was probably what, Evolution at the time? Turok Evolution was the one that gave me GameCube.
Yeah.
And then The Legend of Zelda for GameCube,
which ended up being Wind Waker.
Yeah, but it has the image from Space World in here.
With the spider. No, not with the spider.
No, with him fighting Ganon. Remember in the Temple of Time, he was fighting Ganon?
Yeah.
In that tech demo?
Yeah, I was thinking of the other tech demo.
The Wii U one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the Game Boy Advance games in here. Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge, which we did end up getting. After Rare was sold to Xbox, they still made it. Breath of Fire, Crash Bandicoot, Diddy Kong Pilot. Must have been the follow-up to Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. DK Coconut Crackers.
Oh, I know. No, that one doesn't.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
What?
That must have been one of those games that was like in development, and they thought it might come over in a different, like, you know what I mean? Like when you would, at that era, when you would get a game of the same name, but it was a totally different type of game.
Because it wasn't out for PS2 yet. I don't think.
No, not in 2001. I don't think. It might have been. I don't think so though.
Because Rockstar was They did have games on the N64, but I think when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, I think that's when they ended up changing their name and just
Yeah,
making it
because it was
exclusive to PlayStation.
because it was like what DNA Designs or something,
Yeah,
and they did Space Station Silicon Valley on the N64. Right, that was the game they made on the N64.
what? I thought it was a truck game. Oh no, not.
I mean, they could have had more than one, but I know Space Station Silicon Valley was one of them. And you were like
Yeah,
this little like alien truck looking thing.
yeah.
All right, so we have let's see, Metroid 4 is on here, which was what Fusion, I guess, would have been 4, right?
Yeah, Future was 4. Yeah,
Um,
but they ended up doing. Was Zero Mission after Fusion?
Zero Mission came after Fusion, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's anything that is like Nintendo-ish related. Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Tactics Ogre Gaiden. Did that ever come out? A Tactics Ogre game for Game Boy Advance?
Yes.
Because I know we got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Yeah.
Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Story. We got Yoshi's Island as
Yeah, I didn't.
but
Yeah,
not Story.
it's not Story. The story's on the N64.
Mm-hmm. There's still Game Boy Color games on this list. Cubics, Robots for Everyone. Harry Potter, Mega Man X Extreme 2. Planet of the Apes, Rayman 2. So that was it. There's a Best Buy ad in here for the GameCube. It says it's just a smiling person.
The 2000s were wowed with this ads.
Yeah, and it says, "You won't believe your eyes. Mario's more super, Zelda's more legendary. The wave, if Wave Race gets any more realistic, you're gonna need a life preserver." What's going on? It's the big power in this little cube. Nintendo's GameCube, specifically optimized 485 megahertz processor and game discs that give you eye-popping 3D graphics, faster gameplay, and realistic action you won't believe. Plus, there's a ton of other cool new games in the works, which means you ain't seen nothing yet. Available November 18th in Indigo and Jet. Parentheses, black. Can you handle the power? GameCube power at Best Buy.
Wow.
Turn on the fun. Is that really Best Buy's catchphrase in the
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yikes. Online NP. I don't know what that is. But Pikmin.com. Sprouts says. Quick Bites, BYTES.
Oh, wow.
About Wave Race, the power plug, and a bright sight. And then they have a huge Nintendo website list. Ironically, in the PlayStation 3 font / Spider-Man movie font.
Oh no!
Was everybody just like that font at the time?
Yeah,
like, it was people.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it's the 2000s, dude.
Man, what a time! Banjo-Kazooie.com, BionicCommando.com, CampHyrule.com, apostrophe or parentheses Zelda, DKR.com, parentheses Diddy Kong Racing.
It'd be so funny if we could actually look these up and see what comes out.
I mean, they might still exist. They probably still own the domain names for all these. Maybe not Bionic Commando. It's probably Capcom's now, but
yeah, that's Capcom.
Rogue.Nintendo.com, parentheses Star Wars Rogue Squadron and Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. swracer.n64.com. That is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer.
Oh, wow.
All right, here's the big ad for Luigi's Mansion. I don't know if you can see it, Ed, but it's pretty cool looking. Midnight Madness, a strange contest, a missing brother, and a mansion at midnight add up to thrills and adventure in Luigi's Mansion from Nintendo. Armed with a vacuum cleaner and a flashlight, Luigi must clean out the spirits from a huge haunted house to save Mario from the leader of the Boos. Not even King Boo, the leader of the Boos.
All right.
It's a little scary, kind of creepy, and a whole lot of fun. Except you can't change the inverted controls. Gosh, that game was a nightmare. I love that game. But
well, you know what? You may not be able to change it on Switch too.
I'm aware. I'm quite aware. Thank you.
Are you going to replay it?
Not if. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Why did my camera just turned off for some reason?
Oh no! There you go. I see you now.
That was weird. Anyways, ethereal assistance, helpful hearts, cash and prizes, mansion keys, saving toads, shrinking shrooms, and vacuum attachments. And don't forget the greatest gadget, handheld help with Professor Egad's handing over of the Game Boy Horror that provides you with information and radio connection to the professor, which is just a Game Boy Color, dude. It's just a Game Boy Color. Yeah. The clear one, by the way. Man, look at all this. Look at all this tactical information. Look at all this. Man, magazines are cool.
They were detailed.
Dude, look at this. Look at this layout, man. They had to do this by hand. There's like, I mean, like, it was like really light computer softwares back then that could do this, right? I mean, I'm sure Nintendo had the money to do that, but like, this is impressive for 2001.
It had that glossy paper on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's quite the pages for this. Then they did a big special for Nintendo Power. It looks like 150th episode or issue. Nintendo Power 150 and counting. So there's that in here. Let's find some other GameCube stuff in here. Sorry, I feel like I'm just rambling. I don't know if there's anything you want to say while I'm looking for GameCube stuff, but
well, you know, I mentioned earlier, like Eternal Darkness, the Twin Snakes for Metal Gear. We had the Wavebird for it. We had Four Swords with the link cables for the GameCube. Odama was one of it. That was the pinball game, a strategy game from Sega. We got NFL 2K on GameCube. I think that was part of the $20 one. We did get some, like I said, at this time, we did get some support from Activision, but you know, we got games from Acclaim, THQ, just like stuff that was coming to Xbox and PlayStation also came on to the GameCube on that small little disc. Tales of Symphonia. This is kind of like the first game that people really got into the Tales game. Series. It's like one of the best RPGs on the GameCube, and it like this was the first, I think, multiplayer game for RPG with 4 players, and stuff. It was on 2 mini discs and everything. That's why it's so beloved, and why people were disappointed with the Switch version, because they took the PlayStation 3 and not the GameCube version
Mm-hmm.
for it. So, yeah, and then of course, like we mentioned, the Game Boy Advance controller and stuff. And it was just like the handle and it was like GameCube was probably one of the most easiest one to set up, because you just pop the lid in, put the game in, close it, and then hit the power. And it was silent. You barely heard the fan, and you just see that GameCube drop, and you knew you was in for a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
games were only games was like ranging from $20 to $50 during that time.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, side tangent, I found the exclusive Twilight Princess review, like the first exclusive story about Twilight Princess, even though it wasn't called Twilight Princess yet. From EGM.
It's the review, or
no, it's the
announcement of the
preview.
game.
The first, it's the original preview.
Okay.
Not quite everything you wanted to know about the new Legend of Zelda, but we weren't afraid to ask, it says. It was not called Twilight Princess yet. It was still called The Legend of Zelda for GameCube.
Wow.
They keep referring to it as Zelda GCN in here.
I think Dan Shu was still editor-in-chief.
Oh my gosh, look how young Anuma is in this. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see it? Look how young he is. Look at that, man.
He had black hair.
No facial hair. Man, so good, man.
And then you see him, and you see the gray hair, but you just like, dude, you've been director. Like when Anuma took over the Legend of Zelda series, he just put it in a whole different direction, and it was Miyamoto's, but it really became Anuma's baby in a sense, and it really became his series, and like, he just took it to a different level. I think that's why when it comes to Miyamoto, and I talk about Pikmin 4 and those underground levels and everything, I'm just like, man, this feels like classic Miyamoto dungeons. Cause like him and his team, and like when Miyamoto was doing Zelda, you could feel his design in the dungeons. When you go to Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on GameCube, that's Anuma style dungeons. And I'm just like, oh, these are so good. They're creative. I'm just like, how did y'all come up with these puzzles and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I almost feel like we should spend 2 episodes on GameCube. It's like there's just so much about this box in particular that is like, for those who bought it and played it and stuck with it, is so, there's just something about that era right before, like, it was the highest quality graphics we had seen before the HD era, right?
Yes.
Like the controller was comfortable, the discs were like novel at the time, right? Like how small they were, like the Game Boy player, and how they like still were trying to connect your handheld experience to the console experience, right? With the Game Boy player, and then like the weird like link cables that you played with, like, I don't know, like 4 different games, like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and that weird Pac-Man game and Zelda, and like
and
Fire Emblem had something with it too. Like it
right, and
was.
and I don't
Go
think
ahead.
broadband was here yet, but I'm like,
It was because the Xbox had that Ethernet cord on the port on the back of it. It
was
was
it a
not
little bit?
widespread. It wasn't widespread, but it
It
was
was
around.
okay, because I didn't know how, like, when broadband kind of began and everything, because I remember Fantasy Star and Fantasy Star 3, like the card game, and like the GameCube, I believe, had also the Ethernet port and everything.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
like online gaming wasn't big yet, but over time, it started to grow. Once like cable companies and stuff caught up to how to do broadband and everything.
Hmm.
That's why, like,
Yeah.
your multiplayer games, everybody did it at and together. The couch co-op stuff, like everybody
Hmm.
was together, and you were still doing split screen.
Hmm. Yeah. And then obviously like Smash became what it was, and
Mm-hmm.
Double Dash is loved by a lot of people, and I don't know. It was just like a I don't know, and I really enjoyed some of the weird games. Like we talked about Extreme G already. Like that third game was really cool, and
Uh, uh,
you know, I think it was the last time we got a real Mario Sluggers game. Sorry, Lasby. Um, I mean, I know we got
and
that weird one on Wii, but I think it was just the GameCube game
right, and
with
I
motion
think
controls, right? So
this is kind of when Ubisoft became like a big name, because Ubisoft had been around for a
yeah.
while, but like
Well,
the Prince of
you think of
Persia's,
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
the three Prince of Persia games, Splinter Cell, like
Beyond
those
Good and
were
Evil,
beyond good and
Rayman.
evil. Yeah. And everything just felt like a new IP, creative and fresh, and there was just something about it, even until Assassin's Creed came, that like made you recognize Ubisoft. And I think that was the thing about the games of the 2000s between all three platforms. It's just like everything, there was just so much diverse and so much flavor in games, and it was literally about fun. It wasn't about money. Like,
Hmm.
even if you didn't have enough to get a $50 game, there was always some budget title that was a banger of a game.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Um, yeah, and then like you had the Sega stuff start coming over, and then
Mm-hmm.
we it's just like Wind Waker was really good, and I've talked
The,
about Twilight Princess enough, and like look, I
this
mean like look, I have so besides the EGM that I want to go through, and the one like the first like 10 pages of this one, I have the Smash Melee one, that I want to go through, and this one's a beefy boy, man. I have the Pikmin launch one, like exploring, like here's what Pikmin is, you know. Man, NBA courtside with Kobe Bryant. That's a
oh goodness, dude, that if people own that game, or like even the ass and stuff, that's probably worth some money.
yeah. And like, I have the Soul Calibur 2 preview that features Link on it, which we'll get to, right? Like this is something like when Switch 2 comes out, we'll do an expansion pass on Soul Calibur 2, I think.
Oh
Um,
yes.
like we got like when Sonic joined Nintendo for the first time, and Sonic Adventure 2
That's
and
a
Sonic
EGM.
Advance. No, it's a Nintendo Power.
Oh, I know there was an EGM one with Sonic on it that had the
I'm
white
sure there
cover.
is. I'm sure
Yeah,
there is, but this is a Nintendo Power. It's Nintendo.
I've
Dude,
never
this magazine was so crazy to see Nintendo Power with Sonic on the front of it.
and
Like
see it.
it had.
EGM had one. Uh, it because they had just started the news. That when Sega announced that they were producing games on the GameCube on the Nintendo platform, there's a picture with Mario and Sonic shaking hands, and I
Mhm.
was just like, oh wow, because no one knew that because we thought that we didn't know that how bad it got for Sega financially until we realized they said they were stopping Dreamcast and becoming a third party company, and then you see their games come to Nintendo because the Sonic games on GameCube was making money for Sega.
Yeah, I mean it was I mean I at the time, like, yeah, Sega fans lost out on, you know, their console, but like I think Nintendo fans were just like, I mean, it's the way we're gonna feel when Halo comes out on PlayStation, right? You're gonna buy it because
Right.
you're curious. Like, it's just a curiosity thing at first, right? And it was like, I remember playing Sonic Adventure 2 on Dreamcast and then playing it on the GameCube, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
this is so wild that I'm playing Sonic with a Nintendo controller.
Because you would
I
never
remember it clear
think
as day.
you would never think that a first party company become a third party software company.
Yeah.
It was just
Since
something never heard of.
it, it never happened. Like, I mean, I guess like technically Atari, but like Atari was never as big as Nintendo or Sega, right? Like they just
Right.
it just never, you know,
And
like the Jaguar was not like it wasn't like the Jaguar was the Dreamcast and then just went away, right? Like it would just
right.
Sega was huge. Like the Dreamcast was like people were excited for the Dreamcast, you know? Especially after Sega screwed everybody over with the Saturn launch, right? Like
Yes.
people were ready for the Dreamcast because Sega finally like marketed it right. And then right before it launched, they, PS2, like people were like, "Oh no." Like I think some people were kind of scared for the Dreamcast, but then there were the people that were like, "I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and get the PS2 because it has a DVD player in it, right?" And that was like the whole
Yeah.
thing. That was the whole thing. In some places, like if you pre-ordered the PS2, you got DVDs with it, right?
Yep.
My first DVD was The Matrix. I remember it, right? With my PS2, I got, I bought the PS2 and the Bouncer, Madden, and NBA Live were the first games
And
I got for my PS2, and all I wanted were DVDs for Christmas.
and this is when GameStop started selling DVDs because of the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, and then like they would do like those crazy sales, like buy one get three free, and you would look for like
Yeah.
box sets of your favorite shows and stuff. Like that was
Yeah.
insane. It
Yeah.
was so
Because
crazy.
and that's been some of the buy one get half off on the like used games. Like
Hmm.
people like you will comb do the bargain bins at GameStop and just find gems of games and movies and
Hmm.
everything. So like when I tell you during that time, you just even if you just had like $50, you were leaving that place with almost close to $100 worth of games and movies for cheap. And
Hmm.
still have enough to get you something to eat and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's when stuff like GameStop and like, around here we have a store called the Exchange. We're like
Hmm.
selling like, dude, they would give you like 40% of what the game was worth in trade credit, and you would turn around and like buy like, I don't know, you would trade in like two games and you would get like $40 for two games or whatever, $45, and you would turn around and buy
Yeah.
like 20 DVDs because they had those crazy buy one get two free, or buy one get three free or whatever. And that's when
Yeah.
my cousin that's when like my cousin started doing eBay and whatever, and like, dude,
It, it, it,
he
I,
made so much money off of box sets because he would do the buy one get three free thing at GameStop, because if you were a pro member, you got that third free DVD, remember?
yeah.
In that
Yeah.
deal. And like, he would buy box sets of like, I remember like Lost and 6 Feet Under and Dexter and stuff like that. Like, and he would buy all of these box sets for like, I don't know, maybe $30 for all of them, and he would turn around and make like $150.
Yeah.
You know, it was insane.
And don't forget, like, during that time, everybody, gas was like $1.29, $1.47, and shipping stuff was really cheap. Like, you could you could you could spend literally of just about $10 or $20 to just get so much bang for your buck and
Hmm.
value.
Yeah, it was it was wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Cause like
but
and
then like,
yeah.
and then like a lot of people were, and like part of me still thinks that that's why the GameCube didn't sell as well as it should have. Not because the games weren't quality, but because
Right.
people wanted a DVD player. You know,
Yeah.
Nintendo didn't put one in their console, and I mean, yeah, it was $100 cheaper, right? Or like 150 or something, right? What was the
Mm-hmm.
GameCube? 100. It was $150 at some point.
149.99, and then it came 129. No, it was 149.99, and then it dropped to 129.99, and then it dropped to 99.99.
Yeah, and like, at that point they were starting to like promote the revolution, and
Mm-hmm.
only the
Yeah.
hardcore Nintendo people were left waiting for Zelda to come out, and everybody else was playing their GBAs and like kind of anticipating the DS. Um,
Yeah, because like
and
yeah, because once DVDs started getting cheaper and getting more um like they were affordable and everywhere, the PS2 is still sold, but that's when it started selling for games than it
Mhm,
did for the DVD player.
mhm,
Cause shoot, you could get like a Panasonic DVD player at one point for like $79 or
mhm.
something.
Right. But then you started hearing about like the HD era or whatever, right? And then,
Yeah.
um, TVs. I mean, I remember the Xbox 360 coming out and it coming with component cables, right? Because of the
Uh-huh.
HD era, and HDMI wasn't really like a popular thing yet.
Yeah.
Um, because I think a lot of if you remember, like if you wanted to use HDMI in Xbox 360, you had to buy an adapter, and it wasn't from
Yep.
Microsoft. It was like some third party, like janky, hope it fits in here in the slot type thing. Um,
Yeah, because when I brought my PS3 Slim, that's when they started doing HDMI, the port stuff,
mhm,
and I had to
yeah,
get I literally had to get a um TV that said HDMI and everything.
mhm. Yeah, and that like that not the first year the PS3 was up, that next year, like I remember Black Friday, like get your HD TVs with HDMI input, and like it didn't matter the quality of the TV, you were looking for the ones with like two or three HDMI inputs, right? Like,
Uh huh.
because you're like, I gotta plug in my PS3, and I gotta plug in, if you got that second wave of Xbox 360s, I think the Elites, that when it
Yeah.
came out in black, right? That Elite console, those were the ones with
Yes.
the HDMI ports in them. And like, remember that's when monster cables came out and were popular and started ripping everybody
Mhm.
off for their like $200 HDMI cables that were worth like 49 cents. Um, yeah, I mean, that was a wild time.
It should. I still have to have my TV still had to have the red, yellow, and white because of the Wii
Yeah, mine
and
did too.
everything.
And like this TV right here that's hanging up, this is the one I
Uh huh.
played games on for like forever. Didn't
Yeah.
have that. It had two special cords that came with, that were like you plugged your composite or component cables into this special cord, and
Yeah.
and then you plugged this cord into a slot in the back of the TV, and that's what replaced the component cables for my Wii, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
the other consoles were plugged into the HDMI ports, but then one of the HDMI ports, because this was like one of the first 3D TVs that Samsung put
Yeah.
out, or yeah, Samsung, and it just, I don't know, man. It This TV has seen a lot.
Seen better days. I uh yeah, because I remember when man, because I was never thinking about getting new ports and stuff. I always ended up getting like the switching ports
Hmm.
of the HDMI. And so I would when I once I got my Xbox One and my Wii U and still had my PS3, before I went and got my PS4, I had to like keep switching everything because my TV only just had that one HDMI port.
Yeah. What a wild time, man. Games were, and then like, man, remember when like component cables started first being a thing, and like the GameCube, like Nintendo made official GameCube ones, right?
Yes.
And they were like really good. Like they were amazing, but they only sold them for like 6 months, right? And like
Yeah.
it was at a time when like normal people didn't understand what component cables were, and like the people, like the hardcore people, and the people who owned a GameCube were like, that was such a niche pocket of people. But then like you turn around and try to buy them on eBay or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and they would be like, at that time they were like 150 and $200. Um
Crazy.
and so like I never bought them. And so like when the Wii came out, I was so excited because I bought component cables for the Wii right away, and like nice good ones, and I finally got to play my GameCube games like in a higher resolution.
Yeah.
But then like but then I got really sad when like my when my apartment caught fire and my Wii melted, and I replaced my Wii with one that wasn't backwards compatible, and I was like so mad for like, I don't know, like a day. Well, longer than that, but it was like, oh, man, I finally had these nice component cables to play GameCube games, and then,
That happened.
man, but I mean, I know we've been kind of going a little bit longer than we expected to, but uh like what were some of your favorite like experiences with the GameCube? Like not necessarily
uh,
games, but I mean,
well, definitely Eternal Darkness because of that horror, that thriller element of the fake outs, all of that. Resident Evil 4, like that being a Nintendo exclusive, and just like being so creeped out about that game, getting to the point where I'm in the garden and the wolves are jumping out and they're just like like Resident Evil 4, like I was super scared with it. Medal of Honor Frontlines, I and that was like my first like first person shooter that I had played on my own. Like I played Halo and I played GoldenEye 007. Um but there was just something with front lines that I played from beginning to end. It's just this is when EA had an orchestra do the music. So
mhm.
it was like a live orchestra, and just hearing that doing the TV, and just and like this is when the World War II games or theme was being like introduced, and just like Medal of Honor Frontline just introduced that to me, and I was just like, oh, this game is super good. Of course, Mario Kart Double Dash, and everything with the it was really the tracks for Double Dash and not just the battle system. It was really the tracks for me for that game. We mentioned Billy Hatcher, was one. Beautiful Joe was just like this is classic, uh, Capcom and everything. And this is how I fell in love with Clover Studios with it. It was just like everything to me. Playing 1 and 2, and I know PlayStation got them too and had Dante in it. But it was just something like the little small unexpected games, Alien Hominid, was one. I played that as a flash game, but then it gained the GameCube and brought it. Ikaruga, like Atari published a treasure game. I'm like, what? And it was $20 at GameStop, and just ended up loving getting my tail crushed, but playing more and more of it until I unlocked unlimited continues, and then I beat it with all unlimited unlimited continues, and just like, man, I really wish I had somebody with me, but I can understand why this game is only 5 levels, and stuff, and yeah, and then just taking my GameCube over my friend's house and just like eating pizza and having drinks and hanging out on a Friday, after work, and everything. Like that was my jam with the GameCube. And it was like, it was outside the Dreamcast, GameCube was my first console that I brought. Like literally bought with my money that I worked from. Buying the games, buying the accessories. Yeah, GameCube was my first one. And I will always cherish that.
Yeah, the GameCube was like I didn't. I mean, obviously, I just that I didn't buy the console, right?
Hmm.
But like, it was the first console that I started like actively building a collection of like great fun, like, because like that's all I wanted to do was buy games, and that was
Yeah.
the console I want, like that, and like that and the PS2 most. I mean, but it was mostly the GameCube, right? Like, I mean, on PS2, like, I bought I bought the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts, and I had some sports games over there, and that kind of stuff. But like in God of War, I think was I mean that was like an amazing game for PS2. I still think God of War 1 and 2 are like amazing games. But I mean, for me, it was about buying the GameCube and like buying Nintendo games and seeing like, and once Sega games started coming over, and I kind of was like, it almost felt like I was allowed to have my cake and eat it too kind of moment,
Hmm.
because like, oh man, I don't have to have two consoles to play Sonic and Mario. I can just play them all here. And um I ended up getting Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and getting rid of my I ended up getting rid of a copy of Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast, because I was like, I'm just going to keep it here. um I did eventually sell the GameCube copy, and I did end up buying a Dreamcast copy back. uh because it turns out the GameCube copy is worth a ton of money, and the Dreamcast version is, we'll say, not as expensive. The GameCube version. I mean, even the yellow label, like, greatest Nintendo, what was it? Player's Choice version
Fair choice.
of
Yeah.
the Sonic games are worth a ton of money, and I'm like, dang, dude, it's that yellow strip of tape, dude. Dude, I'm sorry. I love the way the GameCube boxes look. I think I love like the black with the purple and the white lettering. I think it's super clean.
Uh-huh.
Why would you pick yellow of all colors to match with purple? It is so ugly. I know they're
It, I
I know they're complementary colors, right? Like
Yeah.
on the color wheel, but like they do not
I think
complement each other.
I think because those was like reprints and not the original ones.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean
like,
they're players' choice, yeah.
yeah,
But
I think the yellow just stood out so people could see because of the cases being black and everything.
dude, they're so ugly, man. Oh, the player's choice boxes. Like, I mean, it was. I thought the red cases for greatest hits games for PlayStation were bad.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but man, I gotta tell you, the GameCube yellow strip on the side just knocks it out of the park. I actively like sold my player's choice games. Like, I would get them to play the game, but then I would actively sell them and find the well, not
original
I
original
almost said,
box.
yeah, I almost said Black Label, but I mean, I guess Black Label, but the original one. because I couldn't stand it. You know, I played Mario Sunshine as the greatest hit, the Player's Choice one. There's a few others. I think one of the Rogue Squadron games I played like that, because like I mean, it wasn't like a timed thing, right?
Yeah.
It was like a for Nintendo and PlayStation, when their greatest hits line would come out. It wasn't like, oh, this game's been out for 2 years, we're going to drop it in price. It was, this game sold 1 million units.
And now we're doing this.
It now gets this yellow label. And it's like,
yeah, at a cheaper price.
yeah. Yeah. It was like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, no, stop. And like, that happened a lot with Nintendo games because they would
Yeah.
sell so fast, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that's why a lot of those games became hard to find. I was just like, for people who didn't want this console, these games are hard to find.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even the popular first party ones are hard to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you literally had to go to stores where nobody would go. So I mean, that's why I went to Sears and was buying games, because nobody was buying GameCube stuff at Sears. So I was going there buying it, and sometimes they used to have like a 25% sale on games. So new games that came out got that sale.
Yeah, it was wild, man. It was so just label, man.
Dude, it's I would get my games at Sears, but then get like some of my video game magazines at GameStop. And then when they got the card and you could sign up, that's when I started getting the free Game Informer stuff.
Yeah, man, what a video games back then were so. Yeah. It was so much. I don't want to say it was more fun, but it was more like
affordable.
Well, not just that. I mean, now I guess it doesn't. I don't care about that right now, but like, there's just an excitement about game releases because like the internet was around, but not really. You know, websites were around, but not really. I never had access to like chat rooms or anything, so I wasn't online really. You know, and I mean, the only access I had was Game Informer and EGM. Like, I subscribed to, dude, there was a point where I subscribed to like 8 magazines because I wanted to. I had Nintendo Power, Official PlayStation Magazine, Official Xbox Magazine, EGM, Game Informer. What was the other? Not Electronic Gaming Monthly, but the other one. Like I forget what it was called, but like then there was the one that was that one of the stores was, I think it was Best Buy's magazine that was just called like Gamer but without an E. Gamer magazine by Best Buy. So I had that coming. And then there was like another one that I had a ton of issues of. And it was just like, it was the only way I could like express my love of games, because I didn't really have anybody that loved games as much as I did, you know? And I think that's why I missed so much of like the, you know, like the amazing games of the 90s or whatever, right? Like, because I didn't have any siblings, you know, and so they don't exist, so they don't play games. My friends were into like sports. They weren't really into games, you know. And like my only cousin that was kind of into games from like a distance was 11 years older than me. So like when I was like 10, he didn't want to be hanging out with a 10-year-old or like an 8-year-old, right? He was in high school trying to pick up girls and drink and do whatever, right? Like, so I didn't have anybody until after college, really, you know? And
Yeah.
it was like, and then I started talking to friends at work who like sort of play games or like kind of play games, or that
Mhm.
I would say one of the first people I ever I had one friend who was super into video games, and I would kind of learn about certain games from him. My friend Brian. And so like,
Yeah.
he's the one I started my first Destiny podcast with. And
Yes.
I would find out about games tangentially through him, or like play certain games with him. Like SSX was an early one that I found from him, right? Like, and those games are amazing. I think SSX is an amazing series that just disappeared. Um, I didn't even know like what the Xbox was really until like I just heard that Windows was coming out with a game machine, right? That's what people were talking
Yes.
about at the time. Dude, it's so weird to hear people talk about Xbox back then, right?
That,
Because it wasn't
that,
even called the Xbox yet. It was codenamed the Direct Xbox because they wanted to put Direct X in it and put like literal windows on it because Bill Gates wanted
uh-huh.
people to do spreadsheets in their living room, right? And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it just so happens to be a gaming machine also, which is ironically inevitably where we're ending up, right? Because the next Xbox is going to be a Windows machine. But like, it's like just thinking about how people were talking about games back then is just like so mind blowing, and like everything was changing, right? Like the Xbox got
It,
greenlit because PlayStation, like somebody saw the presentation of the PS2, and when you turn it on, it said the word browser on it. So
yeah.
Bill Gates thought they were putting the internet on PlayStation 2 when it was just like, oh, well, here's your memory card and here's your music and here's your whatever, right? On the PS2, and
Yeah.
here's your game disc, instead of like clicking, whatever their version of Internet Explorer was going to be that Microsoft thought was going to the living room. And like, here's Nintendo with their little purple lunchbox that played mini discs, and like it plays games, and that's it, right? It was
It for me it was like EGM, and a little bit of Game Pro and then Game Informer. I seen Xbox official and PlayStation official, but I wasn't into those. I didn't have an Xbox yet. I really wasn't into PlayStation. Even though I had a PS1, when I got my PS2, it was like for Final Fantasy X and Dragon Quest. It was like my RPG
yeah,
system.
that's exactly what I
Uh,
bought I bought my PS2 because I saw Madden running on it, right?
right.
And
Mhm.
it was Madden and it was NBA Live, and like, but like then I saw the bouncer, which was like, I was kind of starting to get into RPGs at that time.
Yeah.
And then like EGM had Final Fantasy X on the cover at one point.
Yes.
And that's what was like, okay, I need to get a PS2.
And God of War, like I was into some of this, like I was making sure that I was staying a multi console. And then as time went on, um, you know, of course, Ziff Davis was running things because of EGM.
Mm-hmm.
We had OneUp.com, and then EGM Expert, which was their strategy guy, and then they changed that to GameFin. So that's why I talk about like Dan Shu
Game
and
Fan, that
Shane.
was the other one I had.
Yeah, that was EGM Expert. That was a strategy guy because when Windbreaker came out, they did the strategy guide for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I had to go find all the Triforce pieces, I was looking at my Game Fan to get it, and I had subscribed to Game Fan um until they went out of business, because I was just like I didn't subscribe to EGM at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um and when it like they stopped doing EGM, it was all on One Up and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So that's why I talk about like the One Up show and the One Up podcast
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And that's when the podcast really started jumping off. And even though like GameCube, PS2, and Xbox wasn't heavily talked about on the web, when the internet like really popped off with Internet Explorer, um like it came to a point where there was no need for magazines because everything was going online at that time. But I was still buying the magazines because there was just something about taking that magazine to me and to school to read
Hmm.
at like my community college and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So,
Games. I mean, it was a. I don't know. I kind of almost wish games were still like that a little bit.
yeah.
Um, and obviously that's like probably rose tinted glasses at some point because like I mean I think games are in like a really great spot now and like I really do think games are like maybe better than they've ever been on a technical
Hmm.
level, but there was just something really I don't know. This is
It
a cheesy word,
it
but like there's something magical about that time in games.
yeah. It just felt it felt free and it felt more respected. And I think once people started getting older and online started taking place, it just games just started shifted to being negative because some people just started having a certain stereotype about gamers and saying that you had to play these type of games if you want to be cool and accepted and everything. And they were just like, I think that's why we was ragging on stuff like Call of Duty and everything, even though it's so well and it's just like we don't want all of these first person shooters. We don't want all. I'm like, we want these different experiences. Okay, so Nintendo became the kiddie one, and nobody wants to play. I'm like, no, it's not like that.
Hmm.
I'm like, you guys wanted the hard. I think this is when the term hardcore really came out, and then just you just started seeing the toxicity that came out of the hardcore community,
Hmm.
that still resonates today. It was just like it became disgusting, and so when gaming changed in that era, you kind of missed the olden days, and it took a long time. It's still taking a long time, but still people are working where people are telling other people it's acceptable to play any kind of game that you feel like you want to play, that you like. Enjoy the games that you like playing. There's
There's
enough for everybody.
there was a camaraderie about games
Yeah.
back then instead of like a hostile. I mean, that's the thing that like really turns me off from games today, and why it's literally why I don't go anywhere to get games coverage anymore, except for like, I think I still think, we talk about it a lot on Pow Block, but like I still think like the sites Push Square and Nintendo Life are like the best sites to go to for just game discussion, like game news
Yeah.
and like information, basic information, because they never have like, like you know, oh, you know, uh, Mario's mustache is twirled like this, so it must be a right wing uh, propaganda, whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, just shut up.
Right.
Like it's like, I just I'm really like tired of negativity and like everything, and I get it. Like there are certain things that need to be discussed and are important and, politically whatever, but like not everything has to be a political statement or a self-serving statement or like you know, it's just you don't and this goes for both sides. Like you don't have to be so mean. Like that's where what it comes
Yeah.
down to is like anger and hostility and like all this other stuff, and it's like, can we just talk about the games? You know, like there's
And
a
have
like
fun with them.
yeah, it's like, and I know a lot of people have gone through a lot of stuff in their lives and some more than others, but like just from my own experience, I've gone through enough negative, for lack of better terms, if you have kids in the car, just plug their ears for 2 seconds, but like, do it right now. I've gone through enough bullshit in my life that I don't need this bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Hmm.
I don't like I've got too much other stuff going on in my life to care about like someone over here making fun of someone over here for having blue hair, and this person's pronouns, and this person over here wants to be accepted by this person over here because they're not giving them attention or something. Like I I we have we have a lot of friends that like it's just like, oh my gosh, man. Like, and I'm not talking about like friend, I'm just talking about the internet in general, right? Like, just
Yeah.
like, can't we just talk about the games? And like, that's what like this era, right? The GameCube,
PlayStation, Xbox.
PlayStation 2 and Xbox generation kind of felt like the last era of that, because like, when Xbox Live came around at the end of the Xbox's life cycle and into Xbox 360, like, game chat became a thing, and we were more involved on the internet because of that style of thing. And you get the random, like, even though like there wasn't as many people playing online yet, there was still like the one random guy in the lobby, right? That was
Yes.
the racist or the annoying person, or the you know I effed your mom guy, right? Like that person. But like then it just grew from there, and then it's just, man, I miss
If
the, maybe it was, and again, maybe it was also me being naive, or us being like not, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a cool kid in school, so like I maybe it was part of that, and I wasn't going to parties, so I wasn't hardened enough, right,
mhm.
in that respect. But like,
it the modern gaming just felt polluted and
yeah,
everything. And it I know it starts with the 360 and a little bit with PS3,
yeah,
because of the online, and I think
yeah,
that's why when Call of Duty came out and you had the chat and everything, you just started seeing a negative behavior,
yeah,
until it came to a point where Microsoft had to stop the step in.
yeah,
And I think that's why we were just like, this is why Nintendo doesn't do online. This is why Nintendo doesn't do this and do that, because there are just some toxic players who would destroy stuff.
yeah,
We want to use it for fun, and because of their behavior and how they use the function in a negative manner, it gets taken away from all of us who was looking forward to using this. So that's why you don't see like achievements for the Switch 2. That's why you don't really go you didn't really see a lot of online gaming for Switch 2 in the manner of like Xbox and PlayStation, because Nintendo has seen the behavior, even though they are a Japanese company, they have seen the behavior of some Western people, and they don't want that to be associated with their company. I mean,
hmm,
with their system. That's why it took Microsoft so long to do the stuff that they needed to do. To like ban stuff. I mean,
I
ban
mean,
people.
you
And
argue
then
it didn't even happen until the Xbox One generation, right? Like,
yeah.
what all that's, yeah. I mean, the Xbox Live changed a lot over the Xbox One generation, and they
Hmm.
really started implementing that kind of stuff, right? And I think, obviously, maybe not obviously, but I really do feel like Phil Spencer and his team had a lot to do with that, of making Xbox a better place to play, in terms of just
Yes.
you know being a place to play, and obviously you're not going to catch it all the time, but like, I do feel like they did try to make it a better place to play, overall. And yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, we didn't worry about that, like, man,
We just had a good time during the GameCube era,
yeah,
because like I said, there's a lot of experiences out there, a lot of franchise that we have come to discover and love, and they were just really about the games and playing them and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
you will root and support the games. You know, if you got a bad game, you got a bad game. But you actually seeing that those developers try to put their all into it and make a better product. And then of course we had the time crunches and stuff, but you kind of see why some games were just bad because like there was a lot of changes and like if you hear the history of the backstory of how some of this game development happened for some of these titles, you would literally be surprised and be like, wow, and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think, I I do think the GameCube had like a lot of amazing games, right?
mhm.
But I do also think like a lot of the reason why I love that generation too is because it just was like not as negative or as um you know online. I mean, to tell you the truth, that's a lot of the reason why I don't play a lot of Destiny anymore. you know, I'm just tired of hearing people being negative.
Mhm.
And it's like, I mean, yeah, I can play with my headset off or whatever, but like it's such a team oriented game that even if you're playing something, even uh remotely difficult, like you need to be in chat at some point. But like, like I love Destiny, and I'm obviously going to keep playing it. And Marathon just got announced that as of this recording, like today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But like, I can't. I don't want to be on a team game with people I don't know. Queuing up solo sounds like a nightmare. And it again, it is just me, right?
Mhm.
I'm just at the point where if I can, and sorry, but I didn't mean to turn this into like some kind of
No, no,
negative
that's
talk,
fine.
but like I'm just at a point where I'm trying really hard to eliminate negativity, uh, negative aspects out of my life. And if that comes at the cost of some of my favorite things, then and I will definitely jump into Destiny. I actually thought about playing it maybe tomorrow or this week because I haven't finished the current storyline yet, or the current
Uh-huh.
in-game content yet. But like, my days of like jumping into a raid and we need one person, so we jump into some random LFG, trying to find someone to raid with us, and they end up being some you know moron. Like, those days are over, man. If I'm not playing with people that I totally trust or totally can rely on, I'm not playing.
Yeah, understandable.
And I think that's why, like, even over the last, like, I mean, I've always loved Nintendo and I've always loved the Switch and the Wii U and stuff, but like, I think even over the course of the last year, you know, I've just been drawn more to Nintendo in general because it's like I don't want this to sound lame, but like a safe space of like, I don't have to worry about anyone like messaging me, or all the things that people complain about Nintendo not having. I'm like, that's great. I don't want people to message me. I don't need to like scroll through, these messages or get random friend requests from automated OnlyFans bots, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh man, this is so, yeah. Anyways, I didn't mean to go on some weird rant. It's been bothering me for a while. Um, and like the GameCube stuff really made me miss it in a way. So
Well, we love the GameCube. Everybody, or no, we were supposed to be talking about the launch, but
we did.
like,
Luigi's Mansion
we
was
did.
great. Pikmin was
Yeah.
awesome. Smash was great 3 weeks after launch.
And then there were just a whole bunch of sports games that probably didn't touch, or I didn't touch.
I
So,
liked I like
uh,
Madden. I like Madden. On that generation of Madden's the best generation. Uh, so, sure.
Yeah. Well, with that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. We want to know about if you played the Nintendo GameCube. Will you be trying it on Nintendo Switch 2 on NSO? We would love to hear your thoughts. You guys could leave them in the comments. You could let us know at bossrush.net and let us know on the socials. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next time on Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.